Hello and welcome to another insightful episode of Life's True Value, a special series of conversations revolving around discovering true value of experiences. I am your host Anku Goel, ready to delve deep into the return on experience or ROX of luxury homes with yet another esteemed guest from the BFSI industry, who brings an immense wealth of knowledge and wisdom to share with us all. Let us get started. A seasoned insurance professional and chartered accountant by qualification, Mr. Satishwar Balakrishnan is the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer at Aegon Life. He has successfully led Aegon Life's transformation into a digital-first business. Satishwar's extensive experience and thought leadership have played a pivotal role in taking Aegon Life to a higher ground. Under his leadership, the company has defined a new vision to be at the forefront of the digital insurance wave, using data and technology to outline the strategy and become India's first and leading digital-only life insurance provider. Prior to Aegon Life, Satishwar helped build the insurance business at ICICI Prudential, Reliance Life and India First Life. I am beyond delighted to introduce the highlight of the show today, and who else but our special guest, Mr. Satishwar Balakrishnan. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank
it
you
is a
very much.
clear pleasure to have you with us. And without wasting your time further, I want to dip into the main subject that we are discussing today is return on experience. How do you look at the concept of return on experience? And it has become a buzzword in the business world today. Where do you see it fitting in?
See, it's a very competitive world, right?
Yes.
And the customers have choices. The thing that can actually distinguish us from the other is the return on experience, right? So that becomes very critical. So that's the reason I think it's when you say it's a buzzword, yes, it's because for us to distinguish myself from others, the return on experience is what I can take.
And how do you relate this whole concept to residential homes, where we choose to live in or purchase a property? How do you think it is relatable to residential home or luxurious homes that we pick?
See, your residential homes is a huge investment. You normally do once or twice in your whole lifetime,
Yes.
right? So you want to go through that entire piece very thoroughly. And one of the most differentiating factor is those various luxury components which comes along with that,
Okay.
right? That's the reason again becomes very critical, and that again becomes very differentiating. The way the return on experience on my products, my processes, my business that I do, similar is what I will expect from a residential property, right? There are specific things that I need which brings in a lot of luxurious value to you. It's a label, it's a brand that I can actually also showcase.
See, there are specific factors that can be aligned or identified to understand return on experience, especially with regards to residential homes.
The big
For you.
piece for me, it's of course the peace of mind,
Okay.
right? 2 is space,
Okay.
right? And 3, of course, there's a lot of things taken care of, which allows me to be with myself, right? I'm not worried about various other factors. The entire experience, when you talk about from a luxury experience, is what are the various pieces that comes along with it, and it keeps me into kind of a cocoon, right? So once I'm back home, it's a different feeling. I am living on my own, right? In the sense, I want to come back,
Yes.
enjoy what I love.
Let us explore a residential home here and identify some of the important factors that can bring return on experience for the sake.
Sure.
Let's go ahead. How the living space or a work of space where we live in has an impact on our work productivity?
See, there is work, and then there is a place where you live, right? So work is basically a lot of, I won't say pressure, but a lot of activities happening there and quite a few things you're doing, right? So when you come back home, that's your place to kind of ease out, right? So basically, the way I try to do is once you're on your way back home, it's like nothing comes beyond that door of mine, right? So that's how, though it always doesn't happen that way, but once you're back home, and that's how it distinguishes. So no work at home, I think that makes a lot of sense. But you still need the kind of position that you've reached, or basically the way you're working. There are quite a few people dependent on you for decisions,
Okay.
for directions. So at that point in time, I can't go back and tell them, sorry, no, it's not this time, I won't be able to talk to you. So that doesn't happen. There are times when it becomes urgent. So you will have to kind of take care of that. So from that perspective is where, even within your home, Right? There will be some amount of work that you will have to do.
Yes.
And you have to create a space for that. So you still need to get that feel that you're working.
But do you think a good experience at the place you're living, the experience you create in your place of living while you choose it, has an impact directly at your work productivity for that matter? You take it to your workplace with the energy, with the thought process, how you've lived in your home. How does that go to your work
So
productivity?
absolutely right. The way I said, I don't want to get the work pressure back home.
Yes.
The very same way, I don't want to get the home pressure back to the office.
Okay.
Right? And that can only happen when your house is actually a very soothing effect on you.
Okay.
Right? For a very simple start, I should be able to sleep properly. Right? That becomes very critical. So those are the kind of things. And when you're at home, it gives you that soothing feeling. It gives you that comfort. It gives you that kind of peace of mind, which energizes you to go and take on the world when you're at work.
You know, because you've been talking about peace of mind and I can see a smile through when I've been talking to you for a couple of minutes now. How do you keep yourself stress-free being the top leader or someone who has been carrying on for decades in the space of dealing with people, convincing them? What really matches that keeps your head stress-free and what elements in your house add value to that?
So at home, the biggest piece is my dinner time with the family.
Okay.
Right? So we kind of more or less ensure every time, most of the time, not every time it can't happen. And it's a very small family.
Yes.
It's me, my wife and my kid, my daughter,
No.
right? So we try and ensure that we have dinner together.
Okay.
And for example, dinner together and that time there is no deal. Basically it's a digital detox time at that
True.
point in time. And you would be surprised. We don't even have a screen at our...
Dining area.
No. So dining area, definitely no. Nothing on the living area. So there is one dedicated room, which is our entertainment room.
Okay.
And that's where my audio system. I love my audio more than my AV thing.
So ironically, in Bombay, we are talking about space, which is going to be keeping it minimalistic helps you find that space.
Absolutely. So because you don't have that much of space in Bombay, you need to ensure that the things that you choose, those are very, very classy. Those are though they might be very limited, right? But you choose what you want.
Coming to the return on experience, beautifully understood how you live your life. With your workforce, how do you bring that return on experience and then contribution to your industry in the workspace they work in? How do you bring that element for them so that they are also stress-free and they can contribute better and they can have a better experience from your workspace?
So 2-3 things that we are doing. One is, of course, the way I wanted it for myself.
Yeah.
I think that should be the experience for them
Okay.
too, right? So work is work and the rest of the time is yours. And quite a major thing happened post-COVID, right? So COVID actually forced us to work from home,
Yes.
right? And it was not that work from home was not a concept before that, right?
Okay.
It was always there. But COVID allowed people to actually adopt it, right? There was
Okay.
acceptance to work from anywhere, to which we decided to continue with it. Now, what brings in work from anywhere is it brings in a lot of flexibility within people. So there is, of course, an office space available.
Yes.
You decide when you want to work from your home, when you want to come to the office, right? You permanently want to decide from your home, work from your home, you can do that,
Yes.
right? And this required quite a few changes at our end. So one of the things that we did was, there is no point in me tracking that locking in at, say,
Oh, the
9 a.m.
login time and the logout time.
So there is no point in doing that, right? So I can actually log in, move out and come back, doesn't
Yes,
really
we
matter.
do
right?
that, yes.
So we did away with that. There is no attendance in our organization. There is no login, logout time. That also means that you might get stressed out, but it also depends. There will be times when you will have to work a little longer.
Okay.
But there can also be times when you don't have to, right? If you're done within 4 hours, please have that time to yourself.
So you've given extreme flexibility to take the decision and do your work in the right manner.
Absolutely. So what we've done is we have moved away from this and we have made for all the entire staff one criteria which is called as the outcome orientation.
Okay.
Right? So whenever you get into any activity or whenever you get into any job, right, there is a specific reason that you have been appointed.
Okay.
Stay focused on that. Deliver on that. Right? The number of hours you have put in, that's a different story, but it has to deliver on what is expected of you.
You have to get the return right, what is expected in your own ways.
So it's more outcome orientation, and when you do that, you can get away from all this monitoring.
So Mr. Satishwar, now that we are sitting in the business center, it is imperative for me to talk about business. How do you think that ROX or return on experience has an importance to play in the insurance sector?
As you know, the insurance business, especially the life insurance business, is a very emotional product, right? You actually don't buy it for yourself, you buy it for the betterment of your family, right? And it's very much involved with life per se. So whenever I buy life insurance policy, right, so I am buying it in case if something happens to me, right? My family is secure. So it becomes very emotional. And unfortunately, the moment of truth happens at a very sad occasion, right? So if I'm no longer there, that's the time we come to help, right? So there is, of course, we can't fulfill for the emotional piece, but we can at least take care of the financial aspect of the specific individual. The family doesn't have to worry about at least money, because naturally you're losing a very close person of yours, but at least you don't have to worry about money. From that perspective, yes, we don't want people to experience that moment of truth, but we at least want to make the experience while you buy much more better. Right? So in that perspective is where selling a life insurance product itself is a push product. Right? It's an emotional buy. It's an emotional buy. People don't want to think about it, and we have to naturally talk about it so that there is an urge or a need to buy that product. From that perspective is where we would want to bring that experience. We don't want them to continue for a very long time in terms of the process of buying a life insurance policy, in terms of documentations and various other pieces. That is where the experience in terms when you're buying a policy, that should at least be very convenient, very smooth, very simple. So that's an experience which we want to bring.
So you were saying that when they look for return on experience, it's more about convenience, easy, available, approachable. You actually led me to my next question, which is about what initiatives Aegon Life will be taking to bring about the innovation. Why I'm saying that is because you're talking about making the experience go good by making it convenient, ho gaya immediately. So I'm sure there's an important role to play how Aegon Life is going to introduce innovative ways or strategies to make the experience better. And in that, I would like to definitely bring out maybe something you can elaborate and explain us about data, digital distribution strategy that you have. Does it really play a role there to add on to the experience, or is it one of your innovative initiatives taken by Aegon Life?
No, true. So when you say, and I'm saying that we have made it convenient, we have made it simple, we have made it easy, we have made it pretty fast, right? We have made it DIY, do it yourself.
Do it, yes.
Right? We have made it right. So all those things doesn't come on its own. So there is a lot of things which is happening in the back end which you don't realize. Right? That's where the convenience, the experience, and the expertise comes through. Right? The lot of thing which is happening in the back end is actually based on the data and being digital. Right? Now data, you would have heard this buzzword called as AI.
Yes,
right?
of course.
Artificial intelligence. Now that's the front end for data.
Okay.
So the whole thing, the AI works basis data. Right? And that is where.
So it is just the front interface, user interface for people is AI.
So it's the learning happens using data.
Okay.
Right. It's basically learning with a lot of data.
Okay.
And then it's forming a mind of its own. Right. And it's building its intelligence. So in a way, data is the intelligence aspect.
Okay.
Right. So data is doing a lot of things which otherwise you and me would have had to do.
Yes.
So it's exactly getting things personalized. So when we are talking to Anku. We are not talking to the general world.
True.
So it's becoming very personalized.
Yes.
It's allowing me to specifically cater to Anku.
Okay.
Right? Because it is talking about what Anku needs, what she will actually cherish more. Right? So it becomes very personalized, and that's where you start relating it in a much better way. And that in itself becomes an experience, by the way. Right? So data comes in from that perspective. There's a lot of learning which happens, which allows us to become more effective. Right? On the very other hand, this data is something which you have, but you need a means to actually reach Anku. Right? From that perspective is where digital comes. So digital allows us to tie up all these things.
Okay.
So data brings in the effectiveness,
Yes.
and digital actually brings in the efficiency. Okay? Because you have all of them, but you need, like I can't remember if I'm speaking to Anku or if I'm speaking to somebody else, that you need something to help you personalize things, right? From that perspective, data helps. But you need a mechanism to make this happen.
True.
And that's where digital comes. So digital allows whole of these things, this whole ecosystem to work together and bring it in front of that person to actually look at that perspective. And it makes things very efficient. So what I'm saying is data is there, but if you want things to get converted ASAP, then you need digital
support. So as I understand data, digital distribution, this triple D strategy that you've quite acquired and explained us comprehensively, can we go to the short-term distribution? Like data is there, you use the help of digital to make it efficiently out there, get the data utilized, and then distribution. So how does that work?
So as I said, in life insurance is a very emotional buy, right? And it's not a simple subject that you will on your own do that thing. So you need somebody to speak through this, right? You also need somebody to kind of, in a very nice way, make you realize that it's an important buy.
Yes.
Because it's something which, as I said, it's an emotional subject. And that's where the distributor comes into picture. Right? So you would want to speak about this product with somebody whom you know, whom you trust. So rather than basically just giving an ad or something, will not make you buy a life insurance.
So you're saying a person has to be there to elaborate on that using the digital aspect, or it is auto done by the digital app?
So the whole journey, the process of buying, that can be taken care of by digital and data, right? But the fact that the realization that I need to buy a life insurance policy, there we still need somebody to convince you, right? And that's where the distributor comes and helps us do that. So what we are doing is the distributor is basically helping us convince the customer. We are making the life of the distributor much easier. We're using data and digital because one, he has taken up a lot of time to convince you to buy a life insurance policy, but the process, the second half, right, that we are making it very efficient and thereby making the distributor more efficient, which allows him to basically do more. So that's our strategy on helping distributor using digital and data as the means.
How do you think artificial intelligence played a major role in this turnaround that we're seeing, whether it's in the insurance industry or our lives, or digitally evolving India as a whole? How much role artificial intelligence has come up?
So a lot of things that we used to be dependent on, say an expert or various other pieces, right? That is now coming through in form of artificial intelligence, right? So it's an advisor. It basically based on and the ability to the capacity which the systems have, right? That is profound. So you basically are able to drive a lot of information using AI, and that is allowed us to do a lot of stuff which we used to kind of take a lot of time doing that.
Yes.
So it's helping me create or enhance my capacity, right? So that's how AI comes in. It's a wonderful advising tool, right? It's a wonderful tool which takes care of a lot of my routine activities.
True.
Right. It helps me, gives me options rather than me creating options, it's actually giving me ready options which I can choose from.
So as you explained us about artificial intelligence, how do we relate and understand its role in Aegon Life's journey? How it helped you, particularly in your industry, your company, to really upbeat the whole experience for customers?
So let me put it this way. AI has actually helped us being more transparent.
Okay.
Right? And the best part, it has actually helped us reach out to a new segment altogether.
Oh wow.
Right? So as you know, buying insurance also needs a lot of paperwork.
Yes.
Right? And if you notice, there are a lot of people who actually make good amount of money, but they don't have the documentation to actually kind of prove that.
True.
That was also a very critical component for us. But using AI, we have been able to solve that. Now using AI, we've also been able to do something called as a 15-second selfie, right? So what we do is you just do a 15-second selfie and we use computer-based algorithms, right? So computer vision is what is called as, or in simple or in normal language, it's also called as spatial analytics, right? We use spatial analytics to kind of do the underwriting process. Now that's a critical process in an insurance policy. So we do that, and this has allowed us to reach out to the interiors of the country, right? Without actually having any major physical presence. So this is how we have been able to kind of reach out to an entirely new segment, plus the interiors of the country. So that kind of comes through. Or a product, which is, the item is our flagship product, which is the simplest form of life insurance, that we have been able to enable using a lot of these processes. So opening up the life insurance to a larger segment has been made possible because of AI. So those are the various critical stuff which kind of...
No, but it's quite interesting. It's not just innovative, but it has immediate benefit of expanding in the market, penetrating, and then helping people to believe in you. So
Absolutely. So, for example, you can actually do a scan and insure.
Okay.
Right? So you have, we actually can reach out just through a simple paper in terms of a barcode, right? A barcode, and you scan that barcode and you can actually fill up the form and get a 15-second selfie and the policy is done.
Wow.
We have been, and this is again, because of AI is where you don't need any paper.
Yes.
Right? So the entire process, we internally call it a zero ops, zero doc. For us, documentation also means no scanned images, right? So just by converting a paper into a scanned image, does that make it digital? As per us, no. So we very clearly feel it's the third-party documents, right? The real document which comes through. For example, I don't know whether you did Digi Yatra.
Yes, yes.
That's exactly what we
use
do, because that's a replica and that's artificial intelligence to an extent, right? It's able to capture your image and know that Anku is Anku,
Yes.
right? So through this whole selfie mode, we also know that Satishwar is Satishwar. Satishwar is alive. Satishwar is kind of healthy enough he's a male, he's so and so age. All those things also comes through those 15-second selfie, right? So a lot of stuff which otherwise would have taken up a good Q&A and a process of somebody interacting with you, that has actually taken over by AI, right?
I'm so convinced on how you have not just improved the experience for customers, but taken it to a next level. When you're saying digitally now 15 seconds, if we can really help us understand the status of the person in life, nothing more we want. And that too with no documentation, no data, and going through it. So it's incredible. It's something that I think is going to take India a step ahead.
Absolutely.
So we are very grateful for that, and thank you so much, Satishwar sir. It was a real pleasure to have you with us. In summary, we have discovered the close connection between our home and its impact on work performances, and why it is important to calculate the return on experience of luxury homes. After all, our home is a critical factor that shapes our professional pursuits and overall state of well-being. This is Anku Goyal saying goodbye from 25 South, one of India's most luxurious living places, where every corner executes opulence and elegance. Wishing you all a journey filled with achievements and a profound sense of satisfaction.